G'day everyone and welcome to my channel, DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Happy New Year. It's now 2023 and I'm back. I've had a bit of a break, stayed with my sister for Christmas because Christmas Day was her birthday, stayed with some friends for New Year's and then went on a little trip to Castlemaine. Came back with a few treasures and COVID. So that was fun. Let me just get started with what I've been making. I actually did manage to make things during this period of time. Now the first thing I made was a patina blouse. Now I did cut this out before New Year's, but didn't make it up until after New Year's. And it's in a very beautiful crepe viscose that I actually bought from Kristen at the Dahlia Society, and the fabric is absolutely beautiful, but it is a devil to work with. So I will say that some of it I tacked because I couldn't get it to sit still enough. And if you ever watch Katrina from Lifting Pins and Needles, anytime fabric's misbehaving, tack it. And I was much more successful in doing that once I had tacked it. It actually fits beautifully. I'll pop some photos in. And I just had these black and gold buttons in my stash. This is my first try at the patina blouse. I know everybody else has already made it, but I really like the statement collar, so any sort of a collar, I'll be in it. So I just did the short sleeve version, although I wouldn't mind a winter version with a bit of a puff sleeve. This does have a small amount of gathering on the sleeve cup, but nothing too dramatic. And I wouldn't mind something more dramatic on the sleeves. I don't know whether that needs to be at the cuff because you don't really want to take away from the fact it's got a nice collar. Collar's not that obvious on it because it's such a busy pattern, but I'm really happy with it and how it fits. So that was my first make for the year. And this is the pattern. I'm sure everybody's already all seen it before, but very nice instructions and very easy to follow. So my second make for the year was some pants. Now, the end of last year, I made the Daisy designer pants by Style Arc. And this time I thought I would try a new pattern that I found, and it's a New Look 6351. That pants. I quite fancied the jacket as well and that, so I think I bought it when Spotlight had their patterns going out very, very cheaply. Well, as cheap as they get in Australia, which is probably $5 each. And so these are the pants. They fit really, really well. I'll pop a photo in of the pants, of me wearing the pants. I omitted the pockets. Not a huge liker of pockets on anything. And I think I actually prefer them. I prefer the fit through the hips in these ones rather than the Daisy designer pants. And very nice make, will be very useful. I've already worn them. I think I've washed them already 3 times, so I have worn them a fair bit. And this is just in a cotton, I guess it's a fake denim lookalike fabric from Spotlight. It was something cheap that I bought just to see if I liked the pattern. Because the next thing I made was these pants in a floral linen from Spotlight. I'll pop some photos in. I made patterned pants in that same New Look pattern and the Harlow shirt by Tazudi. Now originally I was when I bought this fabric, so I bought the plain fabric and the leaf pattern fabric in the linen, I was going to make the Daisy Designer pants in the floral and the Daisy Designer tunic in the plain. And just before I cut it out, Tazudi released that Harlow shirt pattern, and I thought I have to make that. So I went online and I bought it like the day after it was released. And it's actually a lovely pattern. Wouldn't really recommend the pattern if you've never sewn before, because you do need to understand and work out how to do these side splits. So these side splits here, they're not hard to do, and there are things that I would do in a different order, although having looked back through the pattern, I think maybe I did it in a different order than I should have, because when you fold up this front, I would actually prefer to stitch it together, fold it over, then fold up the hems and stitch it that way. A lot of top stitching on it, so if you're making it, make sure you've got plenty of your matching thread. I did find myself changing thread out to ensure I had enough, because I knew I wanted to put these big clown buttons on, and I was going to have enough of that coloured thread to do the buttonholes, and they were quite big buttonholes. So you will need to have a full reel of thread. Mind you, I used it for the pants as well, but there's a lot of top stitching, so the sleeves are top stitched, the yoke's top stitched, the whole front and collar is top stitched. It actually comes together pretty easily, and it's very nice to make, and it's very comfortable. And I made the 14 in this, and there's plenty of room in it. You could easily wear a tank top under it and wear it open. It's actually really nice. I just finished it today and I'm already wearing it. So very, very pleased with the Harlow. Really nice collar. What it looks like if you wear it open. Oh yes, you could wear it open like a shirt, but I think I actually prefer the look of it buttoned up. So that's, I'd made the pants and I hadn't made the top yet. So that was something else I made. Oh, in between making that, I made the Carolyn pajamas. Now I made the Carolyn pajamas using the fabric from my Sugar Plum Fairy bespoke box from the Data Society. And these worked out beautiful. The only problem I did have is because I went to gather those supplies, I think on the 2nd of January, and Spotlight did not have any piping. They didn't have any piping colour that I wanted. They only had like royal blue or black or dark purple, and it's not what I wanted. So in the end I had to make my own piping. So that is what I did. I made my own piping using piping cord and satin bias binding, and just using a zipper foot I made my own bias binding. I'm actually really happy with how the bias binding, with how the piping came out on this. You can see there, let's do that up close. Now I wasn't sure that I was going to have enough of the piping, because it said 5 meters and I did make 5 meters of it, And at the end I thought, oh, I don't think I'm going to have enough. You know, do I go back to Spotlight and get more stuff and make more? And so what I didn't really understand, I guess, or work out for myself was when you turn it back, how far back is this bias binding going to go? So I just drew it up into there. And I think it actually looks really quite good. I'll insert some photos of me wearing them. Not that anybody would want to see my legs, trust me. But I find it's a very nice pattern. Very good instructions. Very good instructions. So really easy to make. And really happy with how it worked out. And I don't think I put piping necessarily everywhere you were supposed to do it. I didn't do the pockets on the pants. One, the top covers the pockets and it's pajamas, so I don't really need pockets. And with the piping, I think I followed the instructions correctly because, of course, you've only got piping on the right-hand side of your front and not on the left because that gets covered, has the buttons done up as well. So really happy with how they worked out. It's the first time I've made the Carolyn pajamas, and I must admit when I cut them out I thought, oh, this is a lot of work for pajamas. But it actually came together really quickly, and all of the bands, so when you're doing piping, you're sewing the piping just for instance onto the bottom of the leg, and then you're getting what's essentially a band piece, stitching that together at the sides and folding it in half and sandwiching that on to make the bottom part of the pants. So you're stitching the piping onto this part here, and then you're making this is double-sided band, and you're stitching that on later. And all of those bands actually fitted perfectly. Very well cut pattern, very well cut. You probably notice that some things when you make them or you go to hem pants or anything like that, even if you're hemming it the exact hem length that is recommended on the pattern, that either you've got too much or not enough fabric in the round when you go to sew the hems. So this came together very, very well. What else did I make? I finished Phoebe's library bag. So this is her school library bag, and I won't be putting her name on the outside of it. It's all fully lined. So I've just lined it with the opposite fabric, and I've put the heavy bag interfacing in it, but I haven't put any interfacing in the handles. They're just probably 4 layers of fabric on each handle by the time it's turned out, inside out. And the reason that I didn't put interfacing in the handles is I was reading somewhere that because children's hands are quite little, when they go to hold the handles are not going to crease up in their hand like they might need it to because their hands are quite small. So I decided to leave the handles uninterfaced, and hopefully she likes that. We're not putting her name on the outside so that when she walks along the street no one knows what her name is. And now my daughter Hannah told me that she wants a library bag for Mia. Mia's 4 months old now, but she wants Mia's name on it because Mia will only be using it when she's with her mother. So it's not like anybody can be calling out their name and your child thinks that they know you. So when I went to Victoria, country Victoria, and it's a very big arts capital of Victoria. I went to this retro secondhand shop where they sell things for you on consignment, and I picked up this fabulous quilted coat. Now last year I had talked about a quilted coat that was in the Guthrie and Garney window. I think it was their autumn window. They say autumn? Yeah, they say autumn and not fall. And I found this fantastic quilted coat, fully reversible. So it's denim on one side, really nicely made. I cannot find a tag on it, even on the inside of a pocket, which is where you might usually put a tag on a fully reversible item. And it fits like a glove. It's absolutely fabulous. So I won't need to make that, and it cost $35. So for $35, a fully reversible quilted jacket. And it's absolutely lovely. Buttons on both sides, like really, really good and great value. Now the other thing I purchased was a genuine kimono. Oops. Now they were selling these secondhand kimonos. Now lots of them did have stains on them, and I didn't know how I'd go about getting stains off, or if I would need to send it somewhere to get stains off. There's a lady who predominantly got stains out of a skirt that for kittenish behaviour, if you ever watch that channel. And so I chose one that really didn't have very many stains on it. And I didn't get it to wear. I am way too short to wear this. This would be 30 centimetres longer than my feet. So I did not get it to wear. I got it to put on the wall. So now I just have to figure out where and how I am going to put this up, because it needs to have a pole that goes all the way through the sleeves so that the sleeves are held out, so you can get the actual effect of it being a kimono. And the silk on the inside is absolutely beautiful. So a lot of hand stitching in this. Hey, I think this cost $47, and the ones with stains on them were $35. So even if you wanted to make a genuine kimono by tracing a pattern off it or anything like that, so I can't actually see any stains on it. But there was a lady there trying one on, and she was very tall. She would have been at least 5'11", maybe 6 foot. And she looked fantastic in all of them. Really tall, slimish, and just could carry it off, and had beautiful, really long dark hair that she had up in a bun. She looked fabulous. Yeah, so I found this fantastic shop, bought a few crockery items as well, and all those other sort of things that you buy when you're away on holidays. So, what have I got in the pipeline? For my sister, whose birthday was on Christmas Day, I bought her some fabric and took all her measurements. It's beautiful lawn, absolutely gorgeous. And all her colours, because she always wears aquas and blues. That's what she loves. And so I've taken all her measurements, and now I'm going to make a toile in a top, get it to fit exactly for her, and then make her up a top in that. So that's my next project. And when I'm looking over at my cut and ready boxes, I have not got anything in any of them. I've got my special projects, which was the fabric that I made my pixie dress in, which I actually wore twice over the Christmas period. And that special project is to use that fabric and attach it to a white linen jacket I've got. So cut out the flowers, stick them on, for want of a better word, by using the heat and bond method. So, and then applique around them, I think. The heat and bond is really, really good, but it's not something that you would wash very often. That's why when I did the kids' towels at Christmas time, I embroidered around them, so that, or satin stitched around them, because towels get washed so much. When I made their Christmas decorations, just with the letter of their name on it, and all the ones for my nieces and nephews' children, I didn't embroider around it, because you don't really wash Christmas decorations. If something happens to them, you usually throw it away and get a different one. So, sorry, my voice is a bit croaky, still got that COVID cough. And the only other things I've been doing is buying fabric. What's new? And I also managed to snaffle one of the Data Society bespoke boxes, the January box. Yay, I got it, because at Christmas time, wasn't Christmas time, it was the beginning of December, or halfway through December, and it was going to be the I think it was called like the New Year's soiree, and I thought, oh, I usually get everything delivered to work, and I thought, oh, I might already be on holidays, I better change the address. Well, by the time I screwed around with it, they were all sold, and so didn't make that mistake this time. I managed to get on straight away and get the box, and I think it's like a boho theme, which will be interesting. I also purchased a pattern from Cloth Edit, and it's a named pattern, and it's called the Tico dress, Taiko, I think it is. I'll pop in a picture of that, and I'll be very interested to see how that worked out. It reminds me a little bit of the Style Arc pattern, where it's sort of gathered under the bust, so you get a higher princess line dress and dress line. So very interested to see that. The other thing I'm going to do, my next video is going to be my Make 9, and I'm not sure if that's 9 things I want to make or 9 pieces of fabric I need to use. I have bought up some cheap fabric because I wanted to make my husband a shirt, but he's so fussy. He does wear the camp style shirt, which is basically a button-up shirt that has no collar stand. But he does like a collar stand. He likes long sleeve shirts, and he wants it to have tabs on the shoulders, you name it. You'd think it was an army uniform. That's the sort of shirt that he likes. And so I did manage to get some shirting quite cheap so that I can test out the pattern on it. So I don't know what pattern I'm going to be using yet, but I thought if I can just get a pattern that fits him perfectly, then I won't need to try it on him all the time, because that starts to freak him out. It's bad enough if you have to go to the shops and try on clothes. So the whole trying things on as you're making them, it's really not good for him. And there's only so much measuring on other shirts that you can do until you've put it on a 3D body. You can't really tell all that well. Yes, you can tell it might be wide enough, or it might be narrow enough, or the sleeves might be the right length, but does it actually fit and look good? So that's one of my projects, is to get a good fitting shirt for him. And because he really does like pinwheel cord, so baby whale cord, so soft shirts. So I thought if I can make one in that shirting, get the fit exactly right, then I can make him some winter ones, because he is surely lacking in that department and doesn't care when they're worn out, threadbare. And I think in the old days my mother would have taken the collar off, turned it over and stitched it back on, because that's what people did. We don't need to do that these days because we have Fabric Stash. So that's one of my projects for next year. But I will come back to you probably in a few days' time with my Make 9. I just need to collect photos, pictures, finish washing and ironing fabrics. So some of it will be patterns that I want to make, and others will be fabrics that I want to use. And one of them will be my special project. And if you remember my special project, it is to attach some of these to probably the backs. I don't know about the front of a linen jacket, because seriously it's going to be down your boobs, isn't it? But it does have pockets on the front, so I thought, you know what, I could iron some on the pockets. I could unstitch the top parts of the pocket so that you can get the flap out, attach some part of the floral. I have started to cut out some things like this little flower, because I really need to test it all first. Leaves. And I actually even bought 2 different sorts of thread to see how it would stitch on. So I have got some white linen there that I can test it on, just to see how it would go. I'm not even sure what sort of thread this is called. Some sort of silky embroidery thread, but that might look nice, but I'll test it all out and let you see. So I will definitely be doing that. And I need to stop thinking about coats, because I was thinking, a purple coat. I know what else they had. When I went to the Salvo store, which is a thrift shop in Australia, in Castlemaine, they had everything was 50% off. I got a lot of buttons, great deal of buttons, few pieces of fabric, not much in the way of fabric, but some really nice teal coloured wool, which would really only be enough to make a collar. And then I was thinking, I really want to make that itch to stitch coat. the one with all the panels in it and the top stitching on it. That could make a magenta coloured coat, and then you could make another fake collar out of a different coloured fabric that sits over the top of it and makes it look like it's got a different colour fabric. So you could have a coat that you could wear two ways. And I have got blue fur there. I've got blue fur that I need to make short coat, not too short, only like bum length, not long length like my caramel coloured teddy bear one. Yes, and then I need to make Adele and Phoebe vests out of the leftover fabric. But, you know, sewing with fur is quite messy. In the end, it's on everything. And I'm just sitting here looking at all the fabric that I need to use this year. So I might be able to do a make 9 of fabrics and a make 9 of patterns I really want to make. Because I've got 3 meters of stretch velvet there staring at me. It's beautiful fabric, but I have no idea what to make with it. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Everybody have a really good week, and hopefully my voice is back to normal shortly. Bye.